Hey, what's up? I'm making this video today. I'm talking to myself, but I'm also talking to anybody out there who's been a pushover, who might be considered a passive person, somebody who lets compromise happen. So listen, man, I'm preaching to the choir on this one, but I think it's really important to talk about. I need to hear this message for myself because I've definitely let the wrong people influence me in my life, and I'm sure you may have also. Maybe you're somebody who has influenced somebody into something that they shouldn't have been involved in, and maybe you feel regret about that, or you feel bad about that, or you feel convicted about that. So that's kind of the point of where we're going to go today, because influence is everything. And especially, man, the world we live in now, what's the term? Everybody wants to be what? An influencer. Like, it's crazy, right? The words that we use. And this is something for me too. I really strive to be an influencer there for a while in my life. I don't necessarily subscribe to that idea anymore. But at the same time, if I am going to influence somebody, and by the way, we've all influenced somebody on purpose or just by accident, just by living and being. And we've all been influenced by somebody, for sure. Many people. And if I'm going to influence people, I need to influence them towards the right thing. And if I'm going to let somebody be an influence in my life, I need to be aware of that and make sure they're influencing me towards the right things. Because influence is incredibly powerful, and compromise is something that we do very often. I've compromised many times in my life. I've never really taken the word compromise as like having a lot of weight to it until recently. Because compromise is kind of like, well, you get something, I get something, right? But when you compromise with the wrong people, you get drugged down the wrong path. What the heck am I talking about? Where are you going with this, Rob? Well, let me kind of break this down for you, because this is something that I was studying in the Bible. Imagine that, reading the Bible, you have breakthroughs. And this is something I've been realizing, especially over the past couple of months, as I've been doing like this really deep study into the Bible on a daily basis. I'm reading a chapter at a time, and I'm like going deep into it to learn more about what I'm reading, so I know that I understand what I'm reading. And so we're talking about, King David dies, Solomon comes along. King Solomon dies, and Rehoboam comes along. And Rehoboam dies, there's Asa dies, and then there's Jehoshaphat. I think he was the next one, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, we're going through this lineage of David in the line of Judah, in the line of David. That's the lineage that eventually leads to Jesus, okay? And so Jehoshaphat, who was a great king, a great man of God, he loved the Lord and he had incredible faith, but he compromised. He compromised an alliance with Ahab. So Ahab, not a good dude, not a good king, a king of Israel. So Israel and Judah, two different kingdoms that ended up splitting up after Solomon died. And Ahab, his wife was Jezebel, not a good guy, worshipped other gods, worshipped false gods. He was an evil man in general. You can go ahead and read about King Ahab if you'd like. But Jehoshaphat, who was maybe a little bit passive, might have been kind of a pushover, in the sense of like Ahab wanted to form an alliance with Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat went along with the alliance. There were things that Jehoshaphat compromised to with somebody that he should not have been in relation with. Now, this is interesting here too, right? Because Israel and Judah were two nations that once were one, and they were broken apart. And so it sounds to me like Jehoshaphat wanted to bring the nations back together. Sure, I'll form an alliance with the king of our former of our like countrymen, right? We used to all be one, now we're broken apart. I imagine in his heart, like somebody who has a kind heart, an empathetic heart, you want to bring people back together. You want to bridge a gap. You'd love to be somebody to restore something. But sometimes when you go to restore something, if you try to restore something with the wrong person whose heart's not in the right place, you're actually not going to restore anything. You're going to end up making things worse. Your intentions are in the right place, but the outcome is in the wrong direction because the person you're trying to ally yourself with you're trying to compromise with. I've definitely fallen into this trap in my life. So Jehoshaphat loves God, but compromises by making an alliance with King Ahab. Now let's fast forward. There is Jehoshaphat's son, Jehoram. I never know how to say biblical names. Just let me off the hook. But Jehoram marries into Ahab's family. Why? Because Jehoshaphat had made an alliance with Ahab in the past. So now it's like, okay, Jehoshaphat compromised. Now the next part of the lineage actually embraces the corruption and marries into Ahab's family. So we go from there to Ahaziah. So Jeroboam's son, Ahaziah, is fully shaped by the influence of Ahab's family. Ahab's dynasty and lineage they're demonic. They're evil people. They're doing evil things. And we could get into it more later. If you wanted to ask questions, DM me. I'd love to talk about it. But I'm just going to take you through this quickly. So Ahaziah, he's fully shaped by the influence that his dad Jehoram had caused by marrying Ahab's wife, or by marrying into Ahab's family. And Jehoram was fully influenced because Jehoshaphat had compromised and had allied himself, made an alliance with someone he never should have made an alliance with. Not a good person. And so this leads to Ahaziah getting killed. Then Athaliah, which was Ahaziah's mother, who was from the line of Ahab, brings near total collapse to an entire dynasty because she tries to kill the entire royal family and one child is saved, which saves the line of David, which eventually leads to Jesus. And it all started, so I'm condensing a lot of information into a very short video because I want to make a very strong point that you have to be very careful who you compromise with and who you make alliances with. And I used to not think much of this. Even as a Christian, I used to not think much of this. Oh, well, me putting myself next to somebody who I might not totally agree with spiritually, who I might not totally align with in values and beliefs, I'm going to align myself with them because I feel like this would be a good thing for us, bridging the gap. And those situations in the past have come back to bite me. They've come back to burn me. They've come back to hurt me. I've experienced it firsthand a number of times in my life. And we always talk about this thing in leadership. Your 5 closest friends, right? You are the sum total of the 5 people that are closest to you. So who you let in your circle, who you let have influence in your life is going to affect how you are and how you walk in your life. And it's interesting when you compromise with certain people, it's like you give them an inch, they take a mile. I'm sure you've had somebody in your life. I certainly have. If you're a passive person, if you're somebody who compromises, you let people into your life just because you want them to shut up. You let people into your life because they bug you kind of into your life, or they try to manipulate into your life. And you don't think anything of it. Oh, I just need to get this person off my back. Oh, this person just wants to be my friend. This person just wants to be close for me for this, that, or the other reason. And before you know it, that person ends up gaining influence into your life. Now, because of association, they're attached to you and they gain certain influence because they're attached to you. And now you're allowing this person to have access to other people in your life because you've compromised and let them into your life. This is extremely important, and we have to stand guard on this. And listen, man, if you're young watching this, and if you have kids watching this is something really important to think about. Who are you letting into your child's life, into your family's life, because you compromise, because you don't stand up for what you believe in, because you don't put your foot down in certain situations? It's extremely important. So I just want to leave you just with that today. Who you listen to, okay? Who you align yourself with will determine not just your outcome, but the people associated with you. It will affect the world that you live in. It will affect the outcome of your direct connections. Who are you going to associate yourself with? Who are you going to connect yourself with? Who will you form an alliance with? Who will you let influence your life? And listen, you need to be a strong influence. This is something, man, I was so not this person. And I don't have regrets over it, but I know I need to teach this and talk about this because I would let people walk all over me. I would let people influence me, even though I knew something was wrong about the situation on the inside. I would let these things happen. And looking back, it caused a lot of negative things to come into my life because people were pushy, right? I can think back in high school, people who were doing drugs. I was, I guess lonely, looking for friends. And so I let certain people into my life who should not have been in my life, and they kind of forced their way into my life with drugs and then, with parties and all the stuff that came along with it. And I went down that road because I was like, man, finally I got some friends. Finally I got some people who think I'm cool, who want to hang out with me. Even though I had that before. I had that. It was insecurity. It was insecurity in me. And when you're insecure, you align with the wrong people because insecure people attract manipulative people. And the manipulative people might not even be doing it on purpose. It's like a natural cause and effect of how we are. So I just ask, as you're watching or listening today, how are you going to and who are you going to align yourself with? How are you going to be intentional about allowing certain people into your life that you'd like to have in, or getting certain people that you know shouldn't be in your life out? And be the influence, be the change. I know it's corny to say, but be the change you'd want to see in the world. Be the change you'd want to see in your friend group. Be in the change that you'd want your family to be influenced by, because it means a lot and it carries a ton of weight, whether you realize it or not. And read the Bible, really read it. I'm 42 years old. I've been saved and a Christian now for almost a decade. And it's just now am I really reading the Bible. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, I read it. Like, I read it and I spend time in each chapter. I study to understand it more deeply. And the more deeply I understand it, I'm like, wow, there's so many amazing teachings in every chapter of the Bible. You don't need any other books. I have all these books. I have friggin' hundreds of books. I don't need them. I've been going wide, not deep. If you want true breakthrough, go deep, not wide, on God, on Jesus, and it will change your life. I'll leave you with that. Have an amazing day. Love you guys. See ya.